My friends, the Pacific is about to boil and the world's countdown has already begun. Imagine with me for a second and pay attention to the silent movement that's happening on the other side of the globe. While the West slept, believing that the Cold War had ended the need for large fleets, China turned on its steel printers. They are literally printing warships as if they were sheets of paper, saturating the sea with an insane volume of military hulls. The scenario is one of an empire in unchecked expansion. While the United States, the nation that built the most powerful naval industry in history, has let its shipyards cool down over the past decades. But history doesn't tolerate a power vacuum. The American giant is waking up. What we're going to dissect today is the most fascinating and lethal race against time of the 21st century. It's Washington's monumental attempt to inject tens of billions of dollars to resurrect its ocean supremacy and go head-to-head with Chinese saturation. And in the middle of this chessboard of steel and fire, only one will be left standing in the end. The United States Navy has just laid its cards on the table with a new shipbuilding plan that's breathtaking. They want a colossal nuclear-powered surface combatant, officially designated as the Trump class, or simply the BBGX. We're not talking about a simple patrol boat. We're looking at a true modern battleship, a battle cruiser designed to dominate the deep waters. And in our elite analysis, we're going to name this monster for what it really is: the Lone Fortress. Yes, remember that name. The Lone Fortress was designed to be a floating powerhouse of lethality, equipped with target missiles, intercontinental range, weapons of the future, laser weapons, fleet control, and a power grid so massive it could support systems that would melt through any current hull. The American acquisition plan reveals a historic ambition: the purchase of 15 of these Lone Fortresses over a 30-year cycle. And the urgency is so great that the Pentagon squeezed 3 of these colossi into the fiscal window from 2027 to 2031. Look at that. From the Pentagon of the largest planes, $5 billion reserved just for the first 3 vessels. Injecting almost $14.5 billion into a single ship shows that the American government understands that making up for lost time requires astronomical investments and absolute bets on nuclear technology. But resurrecting the naval empire is not a straight line. It's a journey surrounded by colossal challenges that American engineers will have to overcome to guarantee sovereignty in the Pacific. Now, what is the technical reason behind this monumental decision? The backbone of the American Navy today is formed by the formidable Aller-Burke-class destroyers. The Burke carries the heart of the Aegis combat system, protecting aircraft carriers and wiping out threats. But the American naval plan is surgical and honest. The brilliant design of the Burke has reached the maximum limit of its physical capacity, space, and power generation. The Navy had planned a successor, the DDG-X, but shelved the project precisely to bring the BBGX to life, avoiding making undesirable compromises in weapon systems. The solitary fortress will be the pinnacle of the new American fleet, and the engineering numbers are impressive. Initial estimates indicate that these beasts will carry 128 vertical launch system cells, the famous VLS. In addition, they will house 12 conventional prompt strike missiles known as Prompt Strike. These 12 missiles are long-range hypersonic weapons that share the core of the Army's feared Dark Eagle program. Putting this at sea means giving Americans the ability to decapitate leadership and obliterate extremely high-value enemy targets in minutes without using nuclear warheads. This floating city, designed to carry high-powered lasers and even potential electromagnetic cannons, will require a highly trained crew, estimated between 650 and 850 sailors. The challenge for Americans is not just about not building a colossal ship, but to tame a machine that carries the responsibility of concentrating the firepower of an entire fleet into a single nuclear hull. The great tactical trial of this naval resurrection goes by the name of magazine depth. In a confrontation in the Pacific, when you're up against the swarm of drones and ships that China mass produces, your ship can only fight until the last missile in its cells. After that, it needs to reload. American admirals looked at the recent chaos in the Red Sea and the Strait of Hormuz and made the decision. We need ships that can stay on the front line firing for much longer. And this is where logistical genius needs to come into play to overcome the cold numbers. Pay attention to this tactical math. The modern destroyer Arleigh Burke Flight 3 is equipped with the Mark 41 vertical launch system with 96 cells. The current plan is to purchase 7 of these ships for about $25.3 billion. This puts 672 VLS cells at sea, operated by 2,513 sailors. To get a similar count with the Lone Fortress, the Navy would need 5 BBGX, each with 128 cells. These 5 battleships would deliver 640 cells using about 3,250 sailors. The challenge for the United States Navy is to prove that the unshakable survivability, superior sensors, and exclusive hypersonic missiles of the Lone Fortress make up for this mathematical difference in cost and manpower. The BBGX is not just a missile carrier. It is a center of gravity, an armored forward command post that smaller destroyers simply can't replicate. And to understand the pressure of this technological race, we have to look at Japan's brilliant naval engineering, which serves as a model of efficiency for the world. While the United States is designing its future FFFFX frigate, which will cost $7 billion for 4 units and initially won't even have VLS cells, Japan has designed the formidable updated Mogami-class frigate. Australia has already secured 11 of these Oriental gems. The Mogami has 32 VLS cells, an impressive transoceanic range of 18,520 kilometers, and operates with a surgical crew of only 92 sailors. The whole package costs just over $6 billion. 11 frigates would deliver 352 VLS cells spread across 11 hulls with just over 1,000 sailors. The Pentagon's challenge is to look at Japanese agility, to look at the Chinese production table, and merge that with the unmatched brute strength of the American worker, creating a fleet where the gigantic solitary fortress acts as the queen on the board, surrounded and protected by smaller and lethal vessels. But we need to be clear-eyed about the costs of this recovery. The United States Congressional Budget Office estimates that just the first hull of the Trump class could require between $14.3 billion and $20.6 billion to be built, starting in 2027. Subsequent ships are expected to stabilize between $9 and $13 billion. We're talking about a vessel that enters the price territory of naval royalty, the Ford-class aircraft carriers. The budget reveals that the aircraft carrier CVN-79 will cost $13.2 billion, the CVN-80 will cost $14.2 billion, and the CVN-81 reaches $15.2 billion. The Ford class taught us how complex, yet necessary it is to integrate multiple unprecedented technologies in one place. The first BBGX, supposedly named USS Defiant, will face the exact same heroic challenge. The shipyards will have to tame new nuclear reactors, colossal weapon bays, and gigantic power generators all at the same time. And to ensure this machine doesn't lose its logistical majesty, the Navy needs to solve its sea reloading. Today, rearming is easy. FA-18. Super Hornet fighter jets, a squadron of 12 fighters taking off from an aircraft carrier, can fire 48 stealth LRASM missiles at an enemy fleet, land, reload, and return to combat within hours. Taking advantage of its 11 weapon stations, which support more than 400 configurations. But reloading a battleship's VLS has always required returning to port, and that's changing. In 2024, the Navy took a revolutionary step and demonstrated transferable reloading at sea. Operating a missile cylinder in the open ocean on the USS Choising, overcoming this logistical challenge will turn the solitary fortress into a mountain of fire that can't be emptied. And the horizon of weaponry is also expanding. The United States paused studies on the Railgun electromagnetic railgun in 2021 to focus on hypersonics. But Japan has made progress, successfully testing Rargon aboard the JS Asuka ship, firing at maritime targets. With the loosening of Japanese defense export laws, these technologies could be quickly integrated into American hulls, consolidating the union of the greatest engineering minds of the free world. The final duel for the rebirth of American power takes place within the shipyards themselves. Today, the Tactical Force reports 291 warships struggling to meet the legal requirement of 350 hulls. The oversight offices pointed out that despite the shipbuilding budget having doubled over the last 2 decades, the number of hulls has stagnated. Suffering from delays in the Zumwalt class, the LCS Littoral Combat Ship, and the Constellation Frigate, the nuclear infrastructure is already working at its maximum capacity to deliver vital submarines and aircraft carriers. The CBO warned that future demand will exceed what the industry has faced in the past decade, running into a shortage of highly skilled labor. But it is precisely in times of crisis that true strategy can emerge. The Navy is already discussing bold measures, such as asking Congress to change laws to allow the hulls of auxiliary ships and even some warship parts to be built in allied shipyards overseas, returning to the United States only for the installation of sensitive combat systems. This is America using global strength to build its sword in time for the Great Confrontation. The Lone Fortress is the ultimate symbol of this race. If the Americans overcome the challenges of scale, nuclear logistics, and bureaucracy, they will place an insurmountable monster in the Pacific. So, go down to the comments right now and leave today's 2-part signature. Type the following words in all caps: race against time. I repeat, show that you understand the global strategic landscape and type race against time. Just like the solitary fortress can't survive in the Pacific without military armor, your voice sinks on the internet without a killer method. Pay attention to this. Look at how deep the illusion you're living in goes. Do you have a strong message? Brutal knowledge? But you struggle every day with that feeling of irrelevance they put in your head? You record, try to deliver value, post it, and the video just flops? The system totally ignores you. A lot of people ask me how I broke through this ceiling and reached tens of millions of views by going head-to-head with the system. The answer, my friends, isn't luck. It's pure retention engineering. So I took everything I know and turned it into an exact method for you to attract this same avalanche of views. 50 million views every month on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, on any social network. And this will truly monetize your channel and turn your knowledge into real power and profits. And that's why on July 12th here in Curitiba, I'm going to unlock the black box of this method. It will be an in-person immersion with only 10 people locked in here with me inside my professional studio, where we will forge your relentless authority in front of the cameras. This, my friends, is important. There are only 10 physical spots. When the 10th chair is taken, the steel door closes, and that's it. The QR code is on the screen now. Or type "I want" in the comments in capital letters and shield your communication before the system silences it forever. The link is in the first pinned comment and in the description. Come, because my team and I are waiting for you to change your life here, in this universe, folks, which is still a blue ocean barely explored. Now, if the world out there is in this war of narratives, your home needs order. Access our channel for movie and series tips. Stop wasting time on Netflix, on Amazon, scrolling through what to watch on the weekend. Link in the description, in the pinned comment, and in the card that will appear here now. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video because it takes a lot of work to make. My friends blind, shield your mind. I am Simon Oliveira. See you in the next video.